Following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into a Top 5 Tuesday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Chris Yao, joined as always by MAURICE PATTON. It is November 22nd, and it is Thanksgiving week, and we are so excited to have you guys along for the ride. We've got a lot to get to today, and boy, is it going to be a fun show. Of course, Chip Walters, as always, will join us here on this Tuesday edition, and we get to talk about our top 5 Thanksgiving weekend football games of all time. So should be fun. Going to get into it. Before we do anything else, Mo, what's going on?
Oh, just muddling through a Tuesday, man. Like you said, holiday week. Things get kind of twisted up a little bit, but got a little high school hoops to get to later tonight and just getting through the week.
There are quite a few high school basketball games on tap for this Tuesday ahead of Thanksgiving. So, yeah, plenty of high school sports to get to tonight. And we'll get you that schedule here momentarily in the rundown. But before we do that, we get a chance to talk a little bit about what's going on this week. We have high school football semifinals in Division I. We talked about that yesterday. If you missed any part of yesterday's show, you should definitely go back and watch it. Joe Rexrow joined us. It was really good. But yeah, so this is an interesting week, because some kids are in school, some kids aren't in school, some kids are playing basketball all day long. Fayetteville was down in Gunnersville this morning, an 10-15 tip against Pisgah out of Northeast Alabama, a perennial state finalist. And, well, it went about how you would think it would go, but the court they played on was painted like Florida's court. Like it literally had Florida on the baseline, Gators on the other, and had the big Gator in the middle of the floor. SEC logo in the under the free throw line. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So you never know what you're going to get on Thanksgiving week. It could be anything.
No telling.
That was the wildest thing I'd ever seen. But I thought, okay, well, whatever. But yeah, so we get a lot going on this week. Football teams that are still practicing are excited to be doing so, and they'll be playing Friday night. And we are looking forward to it. There's no question. Where are you going to go Friday?
I'm going to go to Pulaski, check out Alcoa and Giles County. I had thought about slipping over to Murfreesboro. I've never seen Oakland Maryville, but we needed to try to cover Giles County for Main Street Preps, and I'm the closest guy. So
it's going to be a good one.
Taking one for the team there, because like I said, I had really kind of wanted to slip over there and just be a spectator for Oakland Maryville, but, duty calls.
Well, I'm not sure either game is going to be very competitive by the end of it, but hopefully they are, because, you don't want a bad game in the semifinals, but if history repeats itself, Mo, it's not going to be a great night for the losing teams in that one. But
could very well be the case.
That being said, it's going to be a good one. Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump in. We'll give you yesterday's results, today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
In girls basketball action from Monday night, Antioch defeated Whites Creek 41-27. It was Henry County with a 65-16 win over Clarksville Northeast. Creekwood down Green Hill 52-49. Ezel Harding with an 83-24 win over St. Cecilia. Pope Prep 38, Franklin Road Academy 36. Gallatin with a 52-31 win over Laverne. It's Harpeth Hall 62, Hendersonville 54. Houston County down Joe Burns 64-42. Moore County fell to Loretto 52-45. Rockvale with a 45-34 win over Ribault of Jacksonville, Florida. Christ Presbyterian Academy 53, Siegel 23. Summertown with a 64-23 win over Culleoka. Summit defeated Mount Juliet 72-35 and Mount Pleasant 61. Zion Christian 29.
In boys basketball action, it was Antioch downing Whites Creek 56-48. Green Hill a 44-39 win over Blackman. Centennial down Page 64-34, while Beach Edge Creekwood 55-50. Ezel Harding was a 73-32 winner over Lighthouse Christian of Antioch, while Grace Franklin down Father Ryan 67-57. It was Ravenwood 64, Franklin 57, and Pope Prep 87. Franklin Road Academy 61. Friendship Christian down Franklin Classical 76-39, while Gallatin got a 63-38 win over Laverne CPA 74, Harpeth 52, and Loretto a 59-33 winner over Franklin Christian, which was Coach Greg Tipp's 400th win.
Congratulations to GT. Tennessee Heat with a 70-29 win over Mount Juliet Christian. Franklin Road Christian with a 65-56 win over Murfreesboro Central. Pearl Cone 71, Memphis Wooddale 48. Hendersonville down Smyrna 73-59. Station Camp with a 61-55 win over Middle Tennessee Christian. Summertown nearly doubled up Culleoka 66-34. Summit with a 56-47 win over Mount Juliet. Watertown down North Jackson of Alabama 65-28. Webb School in overtime, despite 35 points from Jet Montgomery. Downs Independence 76-74, and Mount Pleasant with a 68-55 win over Zion Christian.
In NHL action last night, in a shootout, the Preds get a 4-3 win over the Phoenix Coyotes or Arizona Coyotes. I don't know what they're called anymore. In women's basketball, Gonzaga with a 73-72 win over Tennessee, and controversial, to say the least. Neither here nor there. Butler, 72-55 winners over Tennessee State. In junior college women's action, it was Vol State 73, UT Southern's JV 35. Itawamba, 65-50 winners over Columbia State. Men's basketball action, Austin P today, I believe, was a winner over Albany, 74-59.
No, that was last night. Was
that last night? They also played today, and I may have it down here at the bottom. But, okay, so yesterday, defeated Albany 74-59. Tennessee State 74. Cal State Northridge 73. Big win there for the Tigers. Belmont 96-73 over Howard. In junior college play, it was Vol State 98, Southeastern Illinois, not Southern Illinois, not the Salukis, 72. Columbia State down Western Kentucky Community and Technical College. That's the longest name ever. 103-52.
In basketball action today, these are double headers unless otherwise specified, and they are 6 o'clock starts unless otherwise specified. At 5:30. Father Ryan is at Centennial. That's a boys only game, I can tell you. They've got a boys only classic going on over at CCCHS. The rest of these are all 6 o'clock starts. They're all double headers. West Creek is at Cheatham County. Clarksville Northwest is at Clarksville. Glencliff is at Antioch. Brentwood Academy hosts Baylor. Eagleville is at Cascade. Nashville Christian visits Columbia Academy. Davidson Academy takes on visiting University School of Nashville. Donaldson Christian Academy takes on visiting Liberty Creek. Clarksville Academy goes to Ensworth. Nolensville is at Forest. Hampshire goes to Frank Hughes. And Lawrence County is in Pulaski against Giles County.
Hillwood plays host to McGavick. Sycamore goes to Hume Foggs. Westmoreland at Jackson County, while Columbia Central will be at Marshall County. Stewart's Creek's at Mount Juliet. Mount Pleasant's at home against Santa Fe. Station Camp goes to Portland, and Stratford's at home. Stratford's on the road at Martin Luther King. At 3 o'clock today, East Robertson will be at McEwen. Also at 6 o'clock, it's White House Heritage at White House, and East Hickman at BGA. Time unknown.
Girls basketball action today. Already a final. Rockvale defeated DME Academy out of Florida 49-34. Collinwood and Loretto were scheduled to play at 10 o'clock at Cornersville. I assume that game is over since Cornersville is set to play Summertown at 1. At 3 o'clock at Franklin, Riverdale takes on Independence. Also at 3 o'clock, Beach and Siegel tip off. At 4 o'clock, Christ Presbyterian Academy and Blackman are playing. At 4 o'clock at Cornersville, Moore County plays Culleoka. At 4:30, Lincoln County plays Hillsborough. The rest of these are all 6 o'clock starts. Green Hill at Harpeth, Overton against Hunters Lane, Lebanon at Franklin, and STEM Academy at Republic.
Summertown currently leading Cornersville 84-50 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, so there you go. And continuing girls play. Richland hosting Community at 6 tonight. Greenbrier at Springfield. Rossview's at Kenwood. Montgomery Central at home against Stewart County. Grace Franklin's at taking on Mount Juliet Christian at 6. Laverne is at Summit. Providence Christian goes to Upperman at 7. Also at 7, Friendship Christian plays host to the Tennessee Heat. And at 7:30, it's Cane Ridge at East Nashville.
Boys basketball today at 11:30. Collinwood and Summertown played down at Cornersville. No result. To my knowledge. Chris might have something. Green Hill plays Webb School at 1. Independence plays Good Pasture at 2:30. Also at 2:30, Marist of Georgia plays Pope Prep. Culleoka plays Loretto down at Cornersville. 4 o'clock start, Riverdale and Page. 4:30, Franklin Classical versus Smyrna. Also, at 4:40, Pearl-Cohn plays Memphis Hamilton. That's at Memphis Hamilton. At 5:30, Cornersville takes on visiting Franklin Christian. Also at 5:30, Coffee County plays Tennessee Heat. Watertown is at Sequatchie County at 6:30. And at 7, Franklin Grace plays at Montgomery Bell Academy.
I don't know the final score, but Summertown was up big in the fourth quarter, so assuming they won. Baylor is at Brentwood Academy at 7:30. Also at 7:30, it's Creekwood hosting Houston County. Liberty Creek goes to DCA, while Lincoln County is at Franklin. John Overton takes on Hunters Lane at 7:30. Richland at home against Community. Valor Collegiate's at Rockville. Laverne's at Summit. Middle Tennessee Christian takes on Mount Juliet Christian. Friendship Christian at home at 8:30 against York Institute. And Blackman takes on Hillsborough also at 8:30.
Women's basketball action today at 5 o'clock. Trevecca goes over to Cleveland to face Lee University. At 5:30, UT Southern faces host Cumberland. Men's basketball action. Austin P has already defeated Fairleigh Dickinson 53-46. At 7:30 tonight, UT Southern is at Cumberland. Second half of a doubleheader. NBA action tonight at 7. Sacramento is at the FedEx Forum against the Memphis Grizzlies. Again, that's a 7 o'clock start. It's on Valley Sports Southeast. Maction tonight at 6 o'clock. Ball State is at Miami. That game is on ESPN+. Also at 6 o'clock on ESPNU. Bowling Green is at Ohio. And that is your rundown.
Done and done. All right. Top story today coming from the coaching ranks as well, there is a rumor out there. Okay. There's a rumor out there posted by John Sokoloff of WCBI News, a TV news station covering Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and high school sports in Starkville. So take that as you will. But John reporting that sources have told him that Lane Kiffin will step down on Friday to become the head coach at Auburn, though Auburn has not officially offered the job to anyone at this point. So Lane to Auburn is happening. Story soon, Sokoloff said. Now, as I asked you, I don't know how someone can accept a job that has not been offered. But this is Ole Miss, and this is Auburn, and this is Lane Kiffin. So anything could happen, right?
I mean, the number of variables that you can get when you're dealing with those three entities are many and diverse. So, I mean, you know, as someone else pointed out hours later on Twitter last night, I tend to feel like if there was something to this, this guy wouldn't be the only one with it.
That's what they said when I said Hugh Freeze was going to Ole Miss.
Well, and that's fine.
My point is to that is that people at Ole Miss talk because they kind of have the same thing that Auburn does, the I know something you don't know kind of thing. And you don't always know necessarily who you're talking to. That's kind of how I got it. So obviously John Sokoloff is a little more probably well known than I was in 2000, 10, 9, 10. I don't remember what it was. But people talk in Oxford, man, they're weird. And is he gonna go?
Okay, here's my
I
question.
don't know.
Here's my question. People in Oxford talk. Who the hell is Lane telling in Oxford on Monday that I'm going to quit on Friday and take the Auburn job?
That's the issue. And this guy is in Starkville, so you never know if he's. I can't imagine he's a Mississippi State fan. I think he's from New Jersey. So it's not, I don't think he's necessarily trying to, throw Ole Miss off their game and expect a game like they had last week against Arkansas because the team was distracted. But then again, someone from Ole Miss or someone from Mississippi State might have called John and said, "Hey, I'm a booster at Ole Miss, and this is what's happening. I just got off the phone with Lane Kiffin, blah, blah." You know what I'm saying? Listen, the Egg Bowl is weird, dude. If there's anybody that could do it, it's these two teams.
I mean, anything can happen. I'm not going to sit here and say Lane's not going to Auburn.
You can't.
But I'm dang sure not going to sit here and say Lane is going to Auburn on Tuesday, November 22nd, just because, again, it makes no sense to me.
Well, the only sense it makes is if there's an NIL situation that Ole Miss has just said, "Look, we're just not going to do it. We're not going to."
He could easily wind up at Auburn.
Sure.
Even though it makes no sense to me.
I just don't know what sense it makes. Right.
A place where you can be a hero. To go over there and in 3 years or less, they can be ready to get rid of you.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss would have been well, Auburn may be pretty slow on a trigger now. But here's the thing. Lane's going to have them. If Cadillac Williams can have them playing like this, Lane Kiffin's going to have some guys. He's going to bring in a quarterback. He's going to bring in, Jackson Dart last year. I mean, for Ole Miss, I mean, he's a USC transfer. Guy went out and won 8 games in a row before they lost to LSU. He's gonna make them better. But the difference is that you're in no different situation.
Successful than Harsin. But there's more successful than Harsin, and there's as successful. And I feel like there's a gap between those two.
There is. There's no question there's a gap. But I just don't know. Because nothing changes. You don't move divisions. You still have to play Alabama twice a year. You have if you go, you have completely evaporated any chance of ever becoming Alabama's head coach.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, because I feel like that was his ultimate goal ever since he left Alabama, really, was to be the heir apparent, especially when Sarkisian left. I felt like that was his whole goal the whole time, was to be Saban's successor. And again, and we've said this before, I think it's easier to get to Tuscaloosa from Oxford than it is from Auburn, not just geographically.
Yeah, you're not going to be the head coach at Alabama Alabama's not hiring Auburn's head coach.
Right.
Period. They're not doing it.
I don't think it is such a drop dead proposition that Alabama is not hiring Ole Miss's head coach.
I
don't think that barrier is there that there is to Auburn's head coach.
Right. Yeah, they wouldn't mind taking Ole Miss's head coach. Trust me, they feel like that's the same as taking La Monroe's. Now, it's true is that whether or not that's true, probably not. But that's the way they look at it. It's the way they feel about Ole Miss. Ole Miss is inferior. Never even been to Atlanta. What are you talking about? So.
Auburn rivalry that would not allow them to hire Auburn's coach any more than it would allow Auburn to hire Alabama's coach. I don't think.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't think either one would hire their other's coach.
So,
all right. Well,
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll find out Friday, I guess.
Or soon thereafter. I mean, we still got 3 more days before. But the Egg Bowl is Thursday, right?
Egg Bowl's Thursday.
So we'll probably know Thursday night.
He's going to walk off the field and be like, War Eagle. Oh,
or not. Yeah.
Or not. There you go. All right. We'll take a break here. When we come back, talk a little bit about the Titans. Mike Vrabel met with the media today and answered a few questions about Todd Downing and about this Bengals game. And we'll talk about both of those subjects on the other side of a break on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Y'all stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We don't know if Lane Kiffin's going to be coaching at Ole Miss or at Auburn next year. What we do know is that Todd Downing will be coaching the offense for the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, at least for now. That is the word we received from Mike Vrabel today during his press conference. Said they were working with the, basically just the normal chain of events and letting things kind of play out, and things can change. But as of right now, Todd Downing is still the offensive coordinator for Tennessee Titans and will be calling plays on Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Business as usual.
And look, I mean, there's precedent for both ways for suspension. There's precedent for, for him to just kind of keep going. That's kind of been, the way the Titans have handled DUIs. At least recently, even with Isaiah Wilson, he didn't get suspended for getting a DUI. Now there was everything else that went along with Isaiah Wilson, but the DUI was not the part of it. So there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess they're just going to kind of let the legal system play out in this one.
And really, that may be the best way to do it.
I don't hate the idea.
I mean, who knows? Anything can happen. And there's no sense in running the risk of punishing somebody for something they didn't do. I mean, there's a chance. So, and I'm not trying to make this a sunshine and lollipops type situation, but I do think that there's something to be said for just letting the legal system play out and then handling it once that's all over with. So
I think that's the best way to do it. I think it's the best way to handle any legal situation, because you never know. I mean, you don't know the situation. You don't know the facts of the case. Mike Vrabel may say, I watched him get in his car. He was fine. He wasn't even, I didn't even see him drink on the plane. There may be 100 things that, that go into it. So who knows? I think letting the legal system play out in these type of situations is good. Now, the problem is that means that he's still going to be calling plays for the Tennessee Titans, and that may be the bigger issue here, Mo.
There's that. There's definitely that. And I guess there's probably a faction of our fan base that would say, hey, we should take advantage of this situation and act accordingly. So this gives you your out right here.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Yeah.
But yeah, and that being said, look, he's coming off of calling a really good game. This Bengals team is, let's face it, they're not really that good. That this is a team that's struggled at times. I mean, heck, they got beat by the Browns 32-13. Now, they've not played a really great schedule. In their last 4 games, they've played the Steelers, the Panthers, the Browns, which they got drilled by, and the Falcons. That's not.
That is not murder. That's not Murderer's Row. No, it's not. So.
But they did beat the Bengals. I mean, they did beat the Dolphins earlier this year. Now, I think Tua was out for that. That was the game that Tua went out in when
maybe.
I think that's the one where the belly to back suplex or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty big game for both of these teams. The Bengals can kind of get back into it with the Ravens in the AFC North, and of course, we all know that the Titans are still trying to hold off everybody from the South. Although their magic number when it comes to the Colts is just 4.
Just.
It is 4 games. Now they've got 10 to play. 7 to play. 7 to play. So, but the magic number is 4. And
seems manageable.
Yeah, I don't know what that. I know we play the Texans at the end of every year. So that's going to be a while, but Jaguars, I don't foresee being much of an issue. Right now, Titans are 3rd in the conference. We play New England at home.
I saw the Titans were actually 6th in somebody's NFL power rankings this week. So.
It's funny because I saw a headline earlier this week that said, I think it was from The Athletic, talking about the shouldn't be surprising any more Titans.
Yeah.
And I think maybe maybe things, because they were basically saying, other NFL teams can learn from Mike Vrabel. I mean, just look what the Titans have done with literal practice squad guys. Just signing folks off everybody else's practice squad, putting them in 6 days later and winning football games.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The lack of respect that the Titans get on a consistent basis and the lack of success that they have given that lack of respect ought to tell you something. Because they don't have a roster once you get past Derrick Henry and a handful of guys on the defensive side of the ball. They don't really have a roster that really keeps people up at night, doesn't really wow you. And yet they've won 7 of their last 8.
And,
I mean, even
should have won the 8th one, dadgummit. God, it makes me so mad.
It's like I think it was Steve Lehman on News Channel 5 the other night that pointed out they're probably 2 plays away from being 9-1.
Yeah, absolutely. You make the field goal at to beat the Giants, and then you 3 attempts at a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So I mean, as bad as you think they are, they're still right now the number 3 seed in the AFC. And
absolutely.
Even if it's begrudging,
you
have
have
to give these guys their props.
You got to respect it. There's no way around it. Look, the Tennessee Titans are this organization under Mike Vrabel is just that they are as blue collar as it comes.
Nothing flashy about it.
Jeffrey Simmons actually mentioned it, I think, about how how surprised he was at how some of these guys who come in on short notice are able to be, impact players.
Come in on Wednesdays, play on Sundays, and make positive impacts.
I mean, that just doesn't happen anywhere else. And I would love to know what that is. Like what makes it so?
I think they must be really doing their homework on the guys that they're bringing in. Which
that would make sense.
It's got to be a certain kind of guy that can come in and do that in such a short period of time. And I think, Isaiah Wilson notwithstanding, that was one of the hallmarks of what John Robinson had been about as GM of the Titans, was getting the right guys in that room.
The right mentality, specifically. So, if only I knew someone who covered the Titans and could do a story and could find one of those guys who made a positive impact from being signed off of a practice squad to write a story about. Just ask them, what's the deal? I mean, there's got to be.
It's a shame you don't know anybody that could do something like that.
If only.
Yeah.
No, seriously. I mean, I would like to ask one of those guys, walk me through your first week. What was that first week like? How did you get acclimated so quickly in order to play on Sunday? Specifically on the defensive side of the ball. The offense is what it is, but the defensive side of the ball, it just seems like every single week somebody's making a play that I've never heard of.
Well, and it seems like it's been more the case on defense. I mean, Chris Conley didn't exactly set the woods on fire while he was here. The kid from West Creek, CJ Board, he made his impact more on special teams than it was on offense. So, I mean, you've not necessarily seen those guys come in off the street on offense and hit it quick, but defensively you have.
And it's really impressive what they do.
Sure.
It blows my mind every time I watch a game and I'm like, who is that guy? I don't even know he existed. And then
that's
you hear,
because he didn't.
and then you hear Mike Keith. Yeah, they signed him off the practice squad from Cleveland last week. I'm sorry, what? So,
And that's the thing. They're not just coming off practice squads, but they're coming off practice squads of not necessarily great teams. And they're coming in here. How could you not play there, but you can play here? What are they missing that we're seeing?
I know this sounds crazy, and it's probably just because I follow them on TikTok, but I would love to see Isaac Rochelle in a Titans uniform. He keeps getting sent up and down with the Browns. They keep putting him on their practice squad, but he's an edge rusher, and we kind of need those right now. He would fit a role, and I'm just curious if I would love to see that guy in a Titans uniform, just because it's his life around the Browns, and he was with the Colts last year and was on their active roster for most of the year. But anyway, but yeah, we should definitely look into maybe asking one of those guys a question. That was a bird that just flew into the window. Okay. I was like, what's that noise? I just watched a bird fall from the sky.
Oh, kamikaze bird, huh?
It is what it is. We just had I just did the windows today, so
there you go.
Thought it was clear to go. Oh man. Well, this Sunday, Titans, Bengals, not a revenge game. So says Mike Vrabel. More than half the team wasn't even on this team last year.
Well, I'd love to know if Ryan Tannehill thinks it's a revenge game.
Yeah, I think for a couple of guys, it will certainly be I would like to put that other one out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan Tannehill being atop that list.
A palate cleansing matchup.
You
Because
feel
I'm
like
sure
if
that
you're
last one left a bad taste in their mouths.
You feel like if you hit Joe Burrow 14 times, you're going to win on Sunday.
And I don't know that their offensive line has gotten better to the point that that's out of the realm of possibility.
And the way David Long is playing right now,
David Long might hit him 14 times
himself. He's, I mean, dude is unreal right now. So yeah, watch out for 51 on Sunday is all I'm here to tell you. And if Jeffrey Simmons is back, also as Justin Kulik mentioned earlier, Bud Dupree practiced this week. So yeah, Bud Dupree. You said that he limited this week, Justin?
It wasn't really said. It was an interview that Jim Wyatt had gotten before practice, and then he was Bud Dupree was walking out to practice.
Oh, okay,
right.
Okay,
so yeah, and that could be a day-to-day thing. I'm not sure if that was. Let me see how recent it was. I think it was yesterday. So I'm not sure if he participated today. It's awesome either way because just his presence, man. I think.
Yeah, I mean, you have to account for him, and that's probably the biggest problem for And here's the thing, he may be practicing just so that the Bengals have to prepare for him.
Yep, true.
You know what I mean? So
he was on practice at practice on Tuesday, so today. So I guess he's going to try to do the full week.
No, nobody plays those games, do they?
Not in the NFL, never.
Especially
not Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, there's a kicker who is in the window to retire, and I think I saw Teresa tweeted something about that. I cannot think of his name, but
a kicker?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, going through their injury report from last week, the only kicker I see is Bullock. And if I'm going through the depth chart here,
it is Caleb
Shudak.
Shudak.
Shudak. Shudak. Teresa, 2 hours ago, Vrabel said the kicker spot for Sunday is to be determined with undrafted rookie Caleb Shudak returns to practice today.
Caleb Shudak.
So
Okay.
Shudak is back in practice, and they released Lambeau Monday. Shudak went on the PUP list, I guess, prior to the season.
All right. Caleb Shudak, like you said, undrafted out of Iowa. So where's number 11? We had a kicker that wore number 6 last week.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Wearing number 11. They're just giving out all numbers, aren't they?
I don't know if you saw it, but Brett Kern said, got me feeling some kind of way here. Not going to lie.
It's a little weird.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Basically an undisclosed reason for being on the PUP list. But he is apparently back or eligible to be back now.
mm-hmm.
Who kicks on Sunday, we'll see. But yeah, wearing number 11, throw him out there in the slot and let's see what happens. We'll do what we can. See what happens. Just see what happens. Anyway, let's take a break and talk college football playoffs on the other side. We've got that and some local high schools football news to get to as well. So stick around. Chip Walter still set to join us in the 3 o'clock hour. All that and more right here on Main Street Sports, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Be back after this. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton here on this Tuesday edition. Is the Top 5 Tuesday. We'll count down our top 5 Thanksgiving weekend football games. Should be fun. Mo, before we get into college football, we did have a couple of high school recruiting updates today.
Yeah, we talked yesterday about Nolensville edge rusher Taylor Wine committing to his home state, Oklahoma Sooners. Well, a couple of things have broken loose since then. Yesterday as well, Lebanon offensive tackle Aiden Donald committed to Tennessee Chattanooga. The second commitment off that Blue Raider team, following the quarterback whose name I just went blank on. Chris, help me out. The Austin kid that committed to Murray State. Is it Austin?
I think it is. Off the top of my head, can't think of his name.
You are useless.
Yes, I am. Donald had a number of FBS offers and chose UTC.
I'm not seeing who all he had been offered by necessarily, but yeah, he is.
Are you referring to Jalen Abston?
Yes, Abston, not Alston. Thank you, Justin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're a Lebanon graduate, aren't you?
Yes, and I went to UTC, so this is.
There you go. So you're supposed to know all this stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. And again, there's an article on the website mainstreetpreps.com referring to Donald's commitment to UT Chattanooga. Is it okay to call them UTC, Justin? Can we do that?
Yeah. That's what I refer to it as. For
Okay.
sure.
All right. I know that there are some schools that are like, don't call us that, like Texas Christian, for instance.
Right.
Well, UAB absolutely hates Alabama Birmingham.
Never mind that's their name.
Well, UT Chattanooga, Tennessee Chattanooga. They don't want that either.
Yeah.
It's all the same, but hey, whatever. From Donovan Stewart earlier today, he said that he chose over Army, Austin P, Alcorn State, ETSU, Eastern Kentucky, Fordham, Furman, Lehigh, Navy, North Alabama, SEMO, South Florida, Tennessee State, and Tennessee Tech. So
that's
3.
Interesting. So Donovan said that.
That is what Donovan has here in his story about randomly Memphis Business Academy's football coach Wilderly resigning. There's just a recruiting update talking about Aiden choosing UTC and Taylor as well.
I was just looking at Tommy Bryan of the Wilson Post's article.
Yeah, when I said that, I was like, no, I swear I saw something about this in one of Donovan's stories earlier today, and I guess who knows? But
yeah,
good to know.
Yeah. Meanwhile, earlier today, Kenny Minchie, who decommitted last week from Pitt, has committed to Notre Dame. I think he took a visit up there this weekend, and I would imagine if you visit Notre Dame and they offer you, you're probably going to pull. So, chose the Irish over Pitt, Michigan State, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wisconsin, according to the article on Main Street Preps by Zach Womble. So
interesting. When you that's interesting. I'm not terribly surprised that it kind of he went upward. In my opinion, I think Notre Dame is probably a better offer than Pittsburgh. But boy, he'd been committed to Pitt for quite a while.
April, I think, was when he committed.
And then you had the commitment from the Independence quarterback to Pitt as well.
Did he? Now, there's been some conjecture about that because I'm not sure he committed. I think he was offered. I did not know him to commit. And I checked with somebody else, and they did not know him to have committed either. We're talking about the Indy kid who started the season at quarterback for them, but I think, oddly enough, got injured against Pope Prep and missed most of the remainder of the season. He's in the 24 recruiting class, and again, his name is escaping me as well. Yes, thank you. So
yeah, his Twitter does not mention
a commitment.
Okay,
so then my guess is he's not.
Currently holds offers from Pitt, Toledo, Miami of Ohio, and Western Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So, even still, Pitt to Notre Dame, and look, Marcus Freeman is having a good second half of this season.
Good second half. Yeah, they struggled early on, as we've mentioned, the losses to Stanford and to Marshall, but they seem to have kind of hit their stride here coming down the stretch.
And
they've got 24 commits now in this upcoming class.
Oh, somebody's not going to be there. Is it 25 you can sign?
I think it's 25.
So you better be careful.
So they're bumping up against it. Yeah.
Yeah, no question.
Oh, there was I don't know if
you get a flip.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw it, but Brock Glenn, the Lausanne quarterback who had been committed to Ohio State for all this time.
Yeah.
He decommitted and instead went with former Memphis coach Mike Norvell in the Seminoles.
I did see that. That was huge.
Yeah, that's a big get for Norvell. Much
think-
needed.
In Florida State, talking about, they've had a pretty good year too.
What gets me though, what I find fascinating in that situation is, as good as everybody wants you to believe Florida high school football is, they're coming to Tennessee to get a quarterback.
Florida high school football is pretty good, but I don't think quarterbacks have ever been kind of their calling card. I mean, obviously you've had a couple, but they're more like defensive backs and wide receivers, aren't they? I don't know. I mean, just off the top of my head, people I can remember from Florida, obviously Derrick Henry, but it kind of like when Tennessee was getting wide receivers from God everywhere. Florida was one of those places. It just felt like that they were getting guys that could run 4.2s all day long and letting them go. But yeah, so big. It is interesting how these schools who started out struggling with first year coaches and are now top 25 teams are starting to see those recruiting class bumps a little bit. And I think that's big. I really do. And it's always good. Look, Wes Rucker said that college football is better when Tennessee's good. It's better when Notre Dame and Florida State are good too. It just is.
Yeah.
As much as you don't want it to be.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a tough admission to make, but I will admit it. Yeah. I mean, when you see those traditional powers having success and that kind of thing, the teams that we kind of grew up watching be successful and watching on a regular basis, it does tend to kind of draw you to it a little bit more.
Now, moving into the college football playoff ranking discussion, how far does Tennessee fall?
I don't think they should fall out of the top 10.
I don't think they will.
Now, past that, I don't know. I mean,
I think they're going to be
ninth.
Yeah, because I think everybody's going to move up from there. LSU, Southern Cal, Alabama, and Clemson all move up.
And then Tennessee falls, you think?
Tennessee falls to 9th. I think Oregon moves up to 10th with that win over Utah. So yeah, I mean, I think Tennessee falls to 9th.
I could see that.
And like we were talking with Joe Rexrode yesterday, if Alabama is ranked ahead of them, it's more likely that the Sugar Bowl takes Alabama, and Tennessee is either hoping for an Orange Bowl call or they're going to end up in Orlando because you can't spell citrus without UT.
Yeah. Thanks, Spurrier. I don't know though, man. I think Joe raised a heck of a point. I think this fan base is going to be so excited, and I don't know. And it's like you said, I don't know how excited Alabama fans are going to be for New Orleans. I really feel like Alabama football has become a CFP or bust type scenario. And I just don't know how well their fans are going to travel. And
I can tell you, Alabama fans are going to travel. They don't care. They really don't. Now they're not going to be it's not going to be as exciting for the fan, but I promise you, I promise you, the Superdome will be full of Crimson if Alabama's there, especially if they end up playing a Clemson. I think the opponent could have a lot to do with it too.
Mm-hmm. Well, there might also be some Alabama Clemson fatigue too, and I'd love, especially after Dabo went out and ran his mouth yesterday, I'd love to see UT Clemson. Anywhere. Music City Bowl.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
I don't-
Parking lot.
Yeah.
Can we get Mount Pleasant's field available for Tennessee Clemson? We can play it there. I don't care. I'd love to see Tennessee Clemson.
Yeah, he needs to. Well, he's an Alabama guy, so he's always going to have a little orange hate. Now, I mean, is LSU going to move up to 5, or is it going to be Southern Cal?
It's a good question.
I bet Southern Cal moves to 5. And Clemson may move ahead of Alabama just so that they can have some cover if they have to put Clemson in the playoff.
Yeah. LSU was what, 6 last week?
They were 6 last week.
And USC was 8th?
7th.
So you're going to jump LSU?
Well, Southern Cal
had of that win over UCLA?
Yeah, Southern Cal got a top 15 win. LSU beat UAB.
Well, so there's cover there for that.
Sure.
Like you said.
Sure. I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think USC is going to end up at 5. LSU will stay at 6. Clemson may jump to 8 or to 7. Alabama stays at 8. Tennessee goes to 9. I would not be surprised if they put Tennessee over Alabama, though. I think they probably – I don't think they will. I think Alabama will be ahead.
But the head-to-head could mean something, is what you're saying? Maybe?
I think if they're looking at it from the analytics part of it, that I think that they do sometimes, I think they'll say, well, home field was worth more than 3 points. And, Alabama lost on the road to them. Their 2 losses are to LSU and Tennessee. And we really feel like, both of them are on the road. There were 4 points total. And I think Alabama might be the better team now. And that's how they could. I'm not saying that is the correct assumption. I'm just saying that's an assumption they could make if Alabama were ranked ahead of Tennessee.
It realistically, I mean, if you're being objective about the whole situation, it's an acceptable explanation.
I would not be up in arms if Tennessee was ranked behind Alabama tonight. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be, especially when you take in and I don't know how much effect Hendon Hooker being out is going to play.
That's your X factor.
Do they say, well, without Hendon Hooker, they're not really as good now?
Well, they're certainly not the same team.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, all of that makes sense. And I mean, I think the bottom line is it doesn't matter. I don't think that there is a path for UT back into the Final Four at this point. So
no,
I don't know what difference it makes where they are.
Well, it just matters on, bowl selection. And I think a New Year's Six bowl is going to happen. You could potentially have 4 SEC teams in the New Year's Six.
Alabama, UT, Mississippi, Ole Miss, and no,
LSU, even with a 3rd loss, would probably still go to like the Orange Bowl or something.
So LSU, Alabama, UT, and
Georgia. That technically that's a New Year's Six bowl.
Is it? Okay.
Because there's you get the 2 semifinals or 2, and then the other 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there we go.
So yeah, I mean, it could very well. I could very well see 4 of the 12 teams in New Year's Six could be SEC schools. I don't think we're going to see anything change at the top 4 tonight.
I don't know what. Why would it?
Nothing. I don't think any of those change at all.
I don't know who below them would force a change. I mean, the only team that could have got its doors blown off.
That's right.
So, yeah.
There you go. Outside of that, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised to see Tennessee at 9th behind 8th ranked Alabama and 7th ranked Clemson and 5th ranked USC,
and number 6 LSU.
And number 6 LSU. Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so who's 10?
Oh, that's a great question. Listen, that may be where the whole thing comes apart. Is because honestly, probably Penn State, maybe Oregon. Oregon beat Utah, so they probably jumped to 10 where Utah was, and Penn State's just kind of stuck at 11.
Makes sense.
But it'll be one of those two. It'll be either Penn State or Oregon. I think it's going to be Oregon because they'll have a top 10 win, whereas Penn State has beaten nobody of note and lost the only 2 games against good teams that they've played.
Right.
So, so it's probably Oregon. Oh, man. Well, let's get to some Blue Raider sports after a quick break here. What do you say?
All right.
We'll welcome Chip Walters in right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Y'all stick around.
This holiday season, the largest lantern event in the country returns to Nashville Zoo. After sunset, come see more than 1,000 Chinese lanterns. All new designs including mythical beasts, a fantastical North Pole village, even a dragon soaring over your head. Welcome back to Zoo Illumination at Nashville Zoo. Bigger, brighter, and better than ever.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Time to talk a little Blue Raider sports with the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters, who joins us now on the show. Chip, what's going on, man?
Just busy time trying to squeeze a week's worth of work into about 3 days before we get ready to head to Florida for the football game this weekend. But women's basketball left this morning, heading to Las Vegas. The men will leave tomorrow morning, heading to Montreal for their 3 games this weekend. So it's a busy week, and the Blue Raider Network will be coming to you from 2 continents this weekend. So, or 2 countries, same continent, 2 countries. So just a little geographic update there, just in case you needed it. But yeah, everybody's we're far flung, but got a lot of business to do.
I guess, Chip, it won't be a whole lot colder in Montreal than it is here, will it?
Because we are actually doing those games remotely. I have not even checked the the weather, although that the lake effect snow that hit Buffalo, Montreal's not that far away. Toronto's really close to Buffalo, and as part of this trip, the men's team, they're gonna play Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Montreal against Hofstra, Stephen F. Austin, and Montana State. And then sometime on Monday, they will bus from Montreal over to Olean, New York, where St. Bonaventure is, and they'll wind up the trip. They'll be gone 8 days on this trip, but they'll probably be taking a kind of a similar route that Bills fans took through Canada to come into Detroit from the north on Sunday when they had to go over there and play the Browns.
And I guess they stayed over there for their Thanksgiving Day game against the Lions. Have you heard? I meant to check on that.
I don't know. I'll have to check with my man Will Brown, who's the video guy for the Lions, to see if who's still in town or not. So, but would make sense to do that.
And no doubt, certainly going back to Buffalo doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, joining us, and man, Chase Cunningham with a day for the ages on Saturday, huh?
It makes me want to go out and get concussed if I could be that productive after it, like he was. My gosh, I mean, 448 yards, which he nipped out Clint Marks by 1 yard for the second most yards ever in a single game, but was 11 short of Wes Count's 459 yards that he had against Idaho.
And Wes was keeping count.
Yeah. Well, his name is Counts, so there you go.
No pun intended, but yes.
But a great story from Stock last night, talking about that, because we're all up there looking and seeing the stats come up, and the coaches in the press box have, they have access to stat broadcast, and they know what the real time stats are, and word got down that there was a potential record, but we had just scored to go up 49-21 and gotten the ball back, and Stock said, well, number one, he goes, I wasn't going to throw it anyway. And said, even before I told him, he said, Chase came up and asked him, he said, Coach, we've got a big lead. Don't put me in, put Preston Rice in. Said, he's a grad transfer. This is his last chance to play a game at home. Let him finish it out. And so that's just the kind of kid Chase Cunningham is, and for him to get Conference Player of the Week, and you all know what kind of guy Jordan Ferguson is, and he was he's a really good guy that had a great day. Just a couple of really good dudes, and the Blue Raiders got both sides of it with the Player of the Week honors. So it was a good day, and got bowl eligible all at the same time.
Chip, take me through that fake punt. Was that a called punt, or was that a read, or how did that work? How does that work?
I'm glad you asked, because I have an answer for that. They've had that in, according to Stock and Jordan Ferguson. They both confirmed it. They've had it in for like 2 years. And waited for the right, spot on the field, all that kind of stuff, down distance, to call it. He said they've called it one other time, but in addition to it, there being a call, there's also a check with me once everybody gets to the line. Mm-hmm. And the first time they called it, whoever it was lined up wrong, and so they got the thumbs down on it. But the other day, they lined up and checked. They did the check with me, and it's checked directly with Stock. And he said he gave them the thumb up, and Kyle Ulbrich should win some sort of award, because he sure made it look like it went over his head.
Huh?
He sold it, and but it was a direct snap to Jordan Ferguson, and Ferg, said it brought back his old high school running back days, and he actually put a move on one guy at about the 15-yard line and got it down to ended up getting it down to the 6-yard line, and between that play and when they brought the heavy diesel set in and threw a screen pass to behind them to Frank Pizant. That was almost illegal. Watching Zaylen Wood clear out a cornerback, it was that was really fun to watch too.
So you guys pulled out all the stops in the 49-21 win over FIU, right?
FAU.
No,
FAU. FIU this week.
You got the I this week on the road.
Got the I this week. Got the A last week. Okay. All right. But yeah, like you said, big win. Got bowl eligible there, and now you go for 7 on the road.
And 7 is better than 6. You know, when you look at the big scheme of things, when bowl bids come out, 7s, are ahead in the pecking order from the 6s. And so it really, I mean, with the way Conference USA looks right now, we're pretty much guaranteed to go, because right now there's 4 bowl eligible teams, UTSA being one of them, who could actually get bumped up a level in bowls potentially. North Texas has 6 wins. Western Kentucky has 7 wins. You have Middle with 6 wins. So there's your 4 that are in now. Now here we go with the 5-win teams. You got 4 5-win teams, but in my opinion, I'm thinking that there's only one who's going to be favored this weekend, and that would be UAB. And UAB goes to Louisiana Tech. In UAB, I'm not sure how they only have 5 wins right now. They're too good to be that way. FAU has 5 wins, but they play Western Kentucky at home, and I would imagine Western is going to be favored in that one. Rice has 5 wins, but they have to go to North Texas, who's playing really good right now. And the other 5-win team is UTEP. And unfortunately for them, they have to go to the Alamo Dome and play UTSA, who has obviously been hitting on all cylinders. So of those 4, UAB would be the only one I would have a ton of confidence in of getting that 6th win and the 5th bowl berth out of the league.
Yeah, the UAB has lost 5 of their 6 games by 1 possession.
Wow,
it's almost like Scott Frost is coaching them.
That's exactly, and but they're a dadgum good football team. They can run it. They proved to us they could throw it early, and so they'll be a tough out for whoever. If they get the win this weekend and get to a bowl, they'll be a tough out for somebody.
Also, this past week, I don't know, Teldrick Ross was also named Defensive Player of the Week by the Conference USA.
That's correct. And he had what did I read? So he's had like 17 pass breakups this
18.
year, and 11 of them, 11 of the 18 within the last 3 games. So I mean, they moved him from safety to corner during at the Western Kentucky game. And while he didn't win that week, but he's been really, really good at corner. And because you've had guys like Jacoby Thomas from Tullahoma, who's kind of grown up a little bit and started getting more playing time, they felt confident then that they could put Jacoby in at safety and move him over to corner, and he's been really good. And so that's been a good move, and it's made a difference in the way the defense has been able to play.
Looking, I'm not sure if Mo's done with football, but I wanted to move to the hardwood if we can.
Sure.
I wanted to make one mention before we did move on. As you mentioned, Teldrick Ross has 17 pass breakups on the year, which is tied for the most in a season. So you feel like you feel like he's going to set that record this week. I would guess. Unless
you would think so, because they'll FIU kind of throws it around. They've always got good receivers, and it's going to be interesting to look over and see Mike McIntyre on the sidelines there. I was telling their radio guy last night, it's like I remember watching Mike carry his dad's headset cables, and on the sideline at Vandy when George was coaching the Commodores. But he will get them better. He's already gotten them better. They only won one game a year ago. They've won 4 this year, and just getting organized, and he knows how to build a program, and with all the talent they've got within a 50-mile radius of their campus, they'll be pretty good.
There you go. On the hardwood, coming off a tough trip to Springfield, Missouri, where Missouri State, by the way, very good basketball program, and just want y'all to know that 20 you go out there and that's a tough place to play, and Missouri State has traditionally been a very good basketball program. So tough go of it out there. But you did get a Conference USA win last week, which is pretty big.
Yep, and you're right about Missouri State, and they're picked second in the Missouri Valley this year. So really good team. Dana Ford, their head coach, they play really tough. And I was talking to Coach McDevitt the other day, and he said that Missouri State really came at them hard, and our guys on that night did not react all that well to it. That was not the type of game we had with Rice last Tuesday night. It was more of a free-flowing, pretty kind of game, and Middle didn't score for nearly 5 minutes, and then when they did, they scored a lot in bunches and often, and ended up leading by as much as 46. And the best part of that is it's a conference game, and you're going to be sitting in first place in the league for 6 weeks now before everything gets cranked back up again New Year's weekend. But this weekend, going to Montreal and playing on a neutral court will be it'll be good to play 3 games like that. Looking back in a tournament atmosphere, Middle's played 4 and 2, played 6 straight. They haven't been beaten in overtime. It hadn't been beaten in regulation, I should say, since last year's on a neutral court since last year's. No, they won 2 in Cancun. They got beat in overtime by UAB in double overtime, and then lost in triple overtime in the finals of the CBI. So they've been a pretty good tournament team. Last year in the Cancun Challenge, they stopped and played at Stephen F. Austin on the way down, and Stephen F. Austin kind of put a little bit of what Missouri State put on them the other night, and that proved to be a wake-up call, because they left Stephen F. Austin, went and won 3 straight in Cancun, and so this is a team that's they've got a lot of skill, and they've got to just learn how to handle some of the opponents that they're going to have to play.
Get a chance to avenge that one in Montreal too.
They do, and I mentioned that to Nick. I said, "Oh, got a little unfinished business there," and we were both talking about how, we hope the guys remember that and take that as part of the game, part of their game plan.
Chip, you mentioned the women, when they go out to Vegas and take on Texas Tech on Friday, they will be ending a 9-day hiatus since their 80-62 win over Belmont. Big win last Wednesday at Murphy Center against a team that only lost at home to Louisville 75-70 not long ago. So that was a big one, and getting back in action will be big for the Lady Raiders, I would imagine.
I would think so. And, they went out, like I said, they left today. They'll get out there and they'll have a couple of days of practice before they get on the floor, which will be inside the Mirage Hotel. But you're right. I don't think anybody did not expect or think that Middle could win that game against Belmont, but the margin, how that one got out of hand. I mean, Middle came out firing and played defense like I don't know what. I mean, really shut Belmont down and caused them some issues early. So it was that was a huge win right there, and I think it's got to be a big confidence builder. Local rival. Now you go out and you play a Big 12 team, and then you play Missouri State on Friday. So you got a Missouri Valley team there. This is an event that they could win both games, and they're going to be flirting with being ranked if they could do that.
And then they've got Louisville coming in here in a few days, December 4th, a week from Sunday, 4 o'clock matchup. So another big one.
That's exactly right. So looking forward to that. But they want to come back with 2 wins this weekend to kind of ride that momentum into the Louisville game, and that should be a great Sunday afternoon crowd.
I would hope so. Yep. It's going to be a good one. Chip, enjoy your are you going to FIU?
Yes, I'll be at FIU. West Bowling is actually going to do the first 2 games from Montreal remotely with Kyle Turnham, and then I'll catch back up with them on Sunday. So they'll be broadcasting out of the Kennan Hall of Fame building.
There you go. Well, it should be fun. FIU is always a good trip. Never a bad time when you're going to South Florida this time of year.
Well, Mill's trying to sweep the South Florida area after winning at Miami and then knocking off FAU, trying to be the kings of the 305.
You get to get a turnover chain or something.
That's right.
I think I smell a graphic coming up if y'all do win this one, Chip.
I would hope so.
Kings of the 305. You can use that in recruiting a little bit, I would imagine.
I would think so.
Yeah. All right.
Chip, we appreciate your time as always, man. Thank you, and looking forward to this weekend.
All right. See you guys.
All right. We take a quick break here. When we come back, Top 5 Tuesday on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. All right, it is Top 5 Tuesday, brought to you by our friends at Mid-South 5 Fitness. That is Style is still in the gang, stillathletes.com, STEEO athletes.com. Getting you ready for Top 5 Tuesday. Go visit them on Instagram at stillathletes, STEEO athletes. There you go. All right. Top 5 Turkey Day games. Now, are we doing this draft style or are we just going to count them down?
I'm down for whichever.
We can do them draft style.
All right. Let's go draft style then. Since Mo, you lost the poll last time, you get to go first. First pick of the draft since you finished third in the poll.
Oh, did I?
You did.
Oh, well, all right then. I will go with the 1974 Thanksgiving Day matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team. That introduced the world to Clint Longley coming off the bench for 203 passing yards and a couple of touchdowns, including a 50-yarder to Drew Pearson in the Cowboys' 24-23 comeback win.
Nice.
Justin, I believe you finished first in that poll, so I'm going to go next.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you won the poll last time. So I'm going to go with the 2005 Cowboys 24, Cowboys 21. Drew Bledsoe quarterbacking the Cowboys there, and Ron Dane was in there for the Broncos. A 55-yard run for Ron Dane set up a 24-yard field goal by Jason Elam to win. So, yeah, I really just wanted to go with that because of all the names that were involved.
Goodness gracious, right? Yeah.
The Broncos have not lost to the Cowboys since 1995 because of this game. So,
all right.
So there you go. All right.
This is our number 1 picks, right?
Number 5, Justin.
Oh, number 5
I'm sorry, number 1, yeah.
Okay.
Number 1.
I'm going to go with the classic butt fumble game, November 22nd, 2012.
Nice.
Mark Sanchez, need I say more, butt fumbled against the Patriots, leading to a Jets loss 49-19.
All right.
All right.
My number 2 pick is from the college ranks. The 2007 Battle for the Golden Boot. Arkansas 50, top ranked LSU 48 in triple overtime.
That's a good one.
Ooh.
That's a really good one.
That is solid.
My second round pick, 2 words, Cam Newton, 2010 Iron Bowl. They were down like 21 points and ended up coming back to win that and then won the national championship. So, yeah.
Nice. My number 2 is the 2010 game, New Orleans versus Dallas. Just because I loved when Drew Brees cooked, led the Saints down an 89-yard scoring drive to win the game with little to no.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. My number 3, Bears 23, Lions 19. I'm sorry, but Bears 23, Lions 17 in overtime. It was the first overtime game on Thanksgiving. It was in 1980, and it was one of the shortest overtimes. Bears running back Dave Williams with a 95-yard kickoff return on the opening kickoff to win it.
Ooh. Well, I'm going to go overtime as well. 1998, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Jerome Bettis, called tails. I don't care what anyone says. And they don't even get the ball because the Lions go down, kick field goal, win the game.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
I will go 93 Dolphins, Cowboys. Has that been said already?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Where there was a blocked field goal where the Cowboys tried to pick it up and they almost did. They would have had a clear shot to the end zone, and the person fumbled the fumble, leading to a Dolphins another attempt where they sealed the deal.
Leon Lett specifically.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes. All right. Since Chris just took one of mine with that Lions Steelers game, I'm going to go 1994 Cowboys Packers. Jason Garrett gets the start because Troy Aikman is hurt and outduels Brett Favre in a 42-31 Cowboys victory. So that's my number 4.
My number 4, going back to overtime. The first Egg Bowl overtime. Dak Prescott leads the Mississippi State Bulldogs to a 17-10 win over Ole Miss. And boy, what a night that was. Bo Wallace, the losing quarterback for Ole Miss in that one. Sorry, Pulaski.
Yeah.
Is this number 4, right?
Number 4.
Cool. Is Detroit and Chicago 1997. 55 points for the Lions with 3 touchdowns by Barry Sanders, one being a 40-yard, other 25, and another 15-yard run. He ran for 167 yards that game.
Barry was special.
Yes, and it allowed them to make it to the playoffs that year, which, anytime Detroit goes good, I feel like it's good for the NFL.
All right. If I lost last week's poll, I'm gonna win this week's because my number 5 is the 99 Egg Bowl. I'm sorry, the 19 Egg Bowl, where Elijah Moore got 2 coaches fired, basically.
So true.
Oh,
that's great. He did get 2 coaches fired.
Gets an unsportsmanlike conduct for peeing on the goalpost.
That was classic.
Causing Mississippi State to beat Ole Miss 21-20. And again, both Mississippi State coach Joe Moorhead and Ole Miss coach Matt Luke got fired as a result of that outcome. So, I mean, any game that can get 2 coaches fired has to be on your list somewhere.
Well,
and if I lose this poll, then I'm not doing this anymore.
I saved this one for last because it's so niche, but the final appearance for Tuskegee in the Turkey Day Classic in 2012 when they defeated Alabama State 27-25 in front of a sold-out first-time grand opening of their $62 million state-of-the-art on-campus stadium, and they had Isaiah Crowell in the backfield. They knew they were going to win this game. Everything was going to go Alabama State's way until Tuskegee showed up, and they won their final appearance in the Turkey Day Classic. They went 10-1 that year, won the SIAC and everything, but talk about spoiling a party. But yeah, that's one of my favorites right there, the 2012 Turkey Day Classic.
There you go.
Nice. My number 5 is the Har Bowl, just because I think it's really cool that brothers are playing each other in a game, in an NFL game. Also that year they both met again later on in the season at the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's really cool.
Did you tell us what game it was?
Oh, sorry, yeah. It was Ravens versus the 49ers on November 24th, 2011.
11.
Right.
2011. Well, there you go.
Cool name.
That's Top 5 Tuesday presented by Mid-South 5 Fitness. We'll have a poll up in just a little bit. We'll have the poll, and then under that you will be able to see where you'll be able to see all of the other stuff. So there you go. We'll be back tomorrow on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Justin Kulik in studio. I'm Chris Yao. He's Mo Patton over there. And we'll see you tomorrow.